There's a new push in Tallahassee to prevent drowning deaths in children by expanding access to swimming lessons.
Now, this proposed legislation is making major progress. So parents, what do you need to know?
All right, News 6's Brian Didlake took this story straight to the water where swim lessons are underway. And Brian, you also spoke with a woman who is passionate about seeing this legislation pass.
That's correct, ladies. We are here at Southwest Aquatics talking about the why of all of this when it comes to this piece of legislation. As you can see over here, we have a bunch of kids learning the swim, float, swim, which is a lifesaver for kids who are 6 months and under. It's something that they can take with them the rest of their lives. And as you were saying, we did speak with one mother who supports this bill and she knows the pain when losing a child, and while swim lessons like this are so important. This is something that you have been fighting for ever since Gunner passed away. Seeing that we have a new Senate bill, what are your thoughts about this?
It's not done on the national scale it needs to, so I'll do whatever I can to make sure that it's at least talked about and understood here in Florida.
Christine Martin tells me she sees hope when talking about legislation like this. Senate Bill 544 has already been approved by the state Senate and has one more committee to go through for the House. If approved, the bill would create a swimming lesson voucher program for Florida families. The program would apply to families with children 4 and under with an income up to 200% of the national poverty level. Christine tells me a bill like this is important after losing her son Gunner back in 2016.
For me, coming from a parent who has lost and who has experienced like the worst of the worst, I would give anything for my son to be here.
Florida ranks 3rd for child drownings, which is why Martin reminds parents of the keys to water safety. Those keys are adult supervision, barriers, swim lessons, and the 4th is CPR.
For us, we laid Gunner down for a nap inside his home, inside his bedroom where we thought he was safe, and he was able to sneak out of our house undetected, and a barrier could have saved his life.
Now, while talking to Martin, she recommends survival swim lessons, which is why we stopped by Southwest Aquatics to learn more.
This is Amelia. She's a 2.5-year-old swimmer.
So we start by teaching children to float on their back, holding them in the correct posture where they would get good breaths.
Maureen Minervini says it is about teaching posture for kids, saying if they can crawl or about 6 months, it may be time for them to start hitting the pool. Lessons that may save a life.
If you back away from her, she'll turn right over and float to get her breath. And then I can
So that's her getting her breath.
It's breathing, yeah.
And that's where this bill comes in, and that's why it's so important. Because swim lessons are going to be the only way that a child can save themselves if something were to happen.
Now, one tip that Southwest Aquatics leaves us with is if a child is 6 months and under, to gently pour water on their face so that they can get used to the water before taking swimming lessons like this, because again, it could save a life. We're live here in Winter Garden. Brian Didlake with the results, News 6.
Brian, thank you. And that would be such a game changer,
Yes.
especially in this state as we are at the top when it comes to drownings.
Because there's water everywhere.
There is water everywhere. And once your kids are able to move, and 6 months seems young, but if they can crawl,
They can do it.
They can
and
crawl and fall into a pool.
If you've ever seen a parent, and you've been those parents where the kid is at the swim lesson, it is hard to watch them, but have them suffer now as opposed to having something tragic happen later on.
My daughter started those lessons at 8 months old,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. I know your kids did them, lots of people around
And they all
here.
swim like fishes now.
Those lessons work, and they save lives.
For 10 minutes a day for about 3 months for 2 years, both of my kids screamed.
Yes.
But they know how to swim.
Right.
Yes.
It's hard, but once
Yes.
they know how to save themselves, it is such a
Flip
wonderful
over and get to
feeling.
the edge.
Yeah.
So important.
Yeah.